Hey guys, what's up? Today's live stream is about why nice guys struggle with receiving love. Okay? If this is one of your first videos, what I mean by nice guys is generally also people who are lacking confidence, because lack of confidence very often, if not most of the time, goes hand in hand with the nice guy syndrome. So what does it mean? Nice guys struggle with receiving love. You probably have already met someone or you have experienced this. You receive compliment from someone and they genuinely want to say that there's something about you that made them feel great, and it makes you feel uncomfortable. It makes you feel almost threatened. It makes you feel like there's something that you should do now, but you're not quite sure what that is, but you don't want to fuck it up. So the fastest thing that comes up and the first thing that you want to do is to either find something that you can praise back, like a compliment that you can give back, or you just deflect the tension by refusing the compliment, right? For instance, I used to do this all the time. Like I was a top 10 Slovakian guitar players on a classical guitar back in the days. And when I was playing in front of groups of people, and people would be saying like, "Oh my God, man, that's amazing! It's amazing how good you play." You know what I was saying? I would say, "Come on, if you are playing for 20 years, you'll be playing the same way." And then they would leave, and they would be like, "Oh, well, I guess." And then they would leave, and I would feel like, "What in the fuck have I just said? Like, why did I say that?" And I remember from my own experience when I came to someone and I gave them a compliment because I genuinely appreciated something. I would say like, for instance, there was this person who was great at public speaking. I would come to him and I was like, "Man, it's really fascinating. I really admire how well you can use your gestures, how expressive you are. I think it's very good how you speak in front of people." When they would do the same thing, they would say, "Oh, come on, I've been going to these public speaking clubs for years." I would feel like shit, right? I wouldn't feel good. So when someone wants to give you a compliment and you reject it, or you just immediately anxiously return it just so you don't have to feel good, you make the other person feel worse, not better. And this is the crazy thing that most of the people who are running the nice guy pattern don't realize. They just do this automatically. And why is this the case? So I'll give you an example. And I think I'm going to use the guitar example again because it's such a good example. I used to play in front of the group of people when we were going to the cottages. I was in high school. There were some drinks involved, and sometimes I would be playing in front of the group of people for 3 hours, for 2 hours, and we would be singing song after song. I would feel amazing. Everyone would feel amazing. They would be yelling. They would have veins here because how much they were singing and enjoying it. And if we would do this for 3 hours, during those 3 hours that I was playing, I felt amazing. It took me a while to get there, right? Like I had to play first. I was super scared, super anxious, but then I started to enjoy it, and I felt better and better and better every single time until my age of 29, probably, or maybe my 30. Every single time after I was playing for this long, and I said, "Okay, thank you." I took the guitar, I put it back in the case. I would feel an instant surge of anxiety wash over my body. It would be almost like a complete contraction of the nervous system, and I would have no fucking clue why that's happening. It would just come, and I would just feel that I fucked something up. I did something wrong. I don't know what it is, but there's something terribly, terribly wrong, and I wasn't able to speak with people for the next 1 hour or 2 hours. I never understood it until I understood how emotional balance in the body works, how unconscious wanting approval, wanting control, and the stuff around emotional releasing that I work with. Until I understood this. So what happens if you are running the nice guy pattern? What's happening is that you unconsciously want approval from the people around you. I'm saying unconsciously because what that means is that you're so used to trying to fit into other people's perceptions of how you should be. You so want to make other people like you, and you are so used to behaving in a way that you know will secure you approval, that you normalize it, right? And if it's happening every day, all the time, and it's now normal for you, you stop becoming aware of it. right? If you speak Slovak, or if you speak any language and you speak only this language, there are words you don't think about this, right? Like some of the behaviors you're repeating over and over and over again, you become used to them, and they just become part of who you are, and you normalize it. Now, if you normalize wanting approval, and you normalize that you lack this approval that you need to get from the outside in order to feel safe and in order to feel loved, what's going to happen is that this will create some emotional balance in your body, right? An emotional balance is like thermostat. If you feel a certain amount of sadness all the time, and suddenly you start feeling a lot of joy in a very short amount of time, very intensely, after a while your mind starts to go like, oh my god, what's happening? Like, this is new. And you will want to get back to your balance. In biology, this is called homeostasis, right? You have some natural balanced state in which you're used to functioning, and your body constantly wants to get back. So what this means is that if you're used to functioning without approval, believing that you don't deserve to be loved, believing that you don't deserve to receive the validation from other people and just love unconditionally, then you will do whatever it takes, right? You will become a people pleaser. You will try to do everything that's possible in order to make other people like you. But with this, when they finally like you, it's going to be overwhelming, because it's going to be something that you're not used to. And with this, anxiety is going to come up, and this anxiety will try to pull you back to your original state, to your homeostasis, to your emotional balance. Therefore, the reason why I was feeling these anxieties and these massive fears that I experienced after playing guitar in front of people, the reason why I was having them, because suddenly, after spending 99% of my day wanting approval, suddenly I got all that approval and I didn't know what to do with it, right? So what did I do? I push myself down with more anxiety. I make myself feel like shit so that I can go with what's familiar, so that I can go with what I know already, right? You can take the same principle and use it on another situation, which is people who are high achievers, who set themselves a goal because they believe that this goal is going to make them happy. They work their ass off to achieve this goal, then they achieve this goal, and then they're like, is this it? Is this really what I wanted? Maybe I'm not dreaming big enough. Maybe I should have a bigger goal. And then they set themselves bigger goal, and again they work at their ass off. They're tired. They put massive amount of willpower in it. They get tired, worn out, and burned out. Right? It's the same principle. If you're used to not having, if you're used to feeling lack and to feeling low self-worth around other people and women, then when you suddenly receive it, and you're not ready for it, and you don't know how to process it, it's going to be overwhelming, and you're going to self-sabotage right back where you were before. This is the reason why nice guys are struggling with receiving love, because wanting approval, which is the unconscious behavior that they're showing, they are so used to it. Wanting approval is another word for wanting love, right? Wanting to receive love. So they are so used to it. They are so used to having lack that when they have more than enough, they get confused. That's why when you give them a compliment, when you give a compliment to the person with poor confidence about something, they get frustrated. They get like they don't know what to do with it, right? Because if they almost feel what very often gets activated in them is guilt and shame. Who am I to receive this compliment? I don't deserve this. And it doesn't come to the conscious awareness that this is actually happening inside them, but they just feel it. They have this aversion, their bodies shrink a little bit, and they just cannot handle the tension. They cannot operate. They cannot function in this. You can see it. It's the same principle. People who win lotteries, they are used to being broke, right? Most people who are broke buy lottery tickets. So if you're used to being broke and then you win 10 millions, the amount of power, responsibility, and control you have with those 10 millions is crazy. And that triggers insane chemical reactions inside the body. And when people do not have tools to handle this tension, what's going to happen is that they start to hate it. And because of this, they're going to sabotage their way all the way to their financial comfort zone, where they don't have to face the unnecessary emotional tension. So, to put this in one sentence, your body has a thermostat, and it's used to a certain emotional cocktail, to a certain emotional balance in your body. If you get too much validation, it feels like pain. When you have not enough validation, it also feels like pain. So the goal is to constantly increase the amount of approval that you are able to receive, and increase the amount of approval and love that you can that you can give. So this is pretty much it. Why nice guys struggle with receiving love and with receiving approval. What I do in my work is that I help guys increase this capacity. And if you are not new to this channel and not new to these videos, you know that I do most of this work through emotional releasing. What does this mean? If I have problem with receiving love, it means that I believe that I don't deserve love, right? So my experience in life is one of the lack of love. And I'm used to this. And this is my filter of perception. This is how I see the reality. So if I receive love, even though I crave it, it's not going to go through my filter, because I'm unable to accept the reality where I receive love unconditionally for nothing. And as a compensation of this feeling of lack, I will create an emotion of desire, and I will desire love. I will desire approval. What emotional releasing does is that emotional releasing helps you to notice this feeling of wanting approval, this feeling of wanting love, and it helps you to let it go little by little. What happens over time, suddenly you notice that you are less reactive in these situations where you receive love. You are more able to simply accept love unconditionally and show gratitude for this instead. And when you show gratitude for receiving love and for receiving compliments, you make the other person feel good as well, right? So somewhere I've heard a quote, receiving with gratitude is giving, right? Because you show appreciation to the person who gave you, and you show them that they are worthy, and that you love them back. If this is something that you want to work on, and something that you find yourself in at least a little bit, then what I recommend you a lot is to book a session with me on this website. And what we're going to do is we're going to look at your current situation, where you are, what are the patterns governing your life, why things are not working in your life in the areas that you want to look at. Then we're going to have a look at what would it look like if it was working perfectly for you. What is your ultimate reality that you want to create? And the result of this session will be a step-by-step game plan for you to know what to do next in order to create this, right? What to do next in order to resolve the problem and create the reality in your life that you would like to. So if this is what you want, the session is free. If this is what you want, go to buymaros.com/book now, and I'm going to speak to you very soon. So have a phenomenal rest of the day, and bye.